Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back. Today, I'm so excited to be introducing Diana Iracheta, who is a Latina engineer on Instagram. She studied mechanical engineering and is currently a manufacturer engineer. She shares all her experiences and life lessons on Instagram, so be sure to check her out. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you. Hi.
So we went to our audience on Instagram and asked what kind of misconceptions they either tackled before when they studied engineering or might be feeling right now. And one of the main misconceptions was feeling the intimidation of going into the STEM field. And so today I want to ask you, Diana, did you feel intimidated when you went into engineering, and how did you stay motivated?
Yeah, I was definitely really intimidated when I went into STEM, into engineering. Honestly, when I started, I was going into physics and then I transitioned into engineering. But I can tell you that I was intimidated every single day of my career. Like, it was like it would come and go at all times. So it was just a matter of, understanding that that fear was within me, because it was mostly me thinking that I wasn't smart enough or that I didn't belong there, either because I was a woman or because I was an immigrant. It was just different things that would make me feel insecure. I would think that other students didn't want me there, that they thought that I wasn't smart enough, but it was mostly in my head. So I had to kind of understand that it was me trying to sabotage myself, like trying to convince me to get out of it. So I mean, when it would come, I would cry, I would, feel upset, I would take a break and then go back and work harder, because it was a goal that I really had, set for myself. And I mean, at that point, there's a quote like, you haven't gotten this far to not get like all the way to where you want to get. So like, once I was there, I was like, you know what, I need to finish, and it was something that I enjoyed, so I had to stick with it, and I was really happy that I did.
Yeah, I can totally relate to what you're saying. And a support system is so important in those times because we can be our biggest critiques. One of the things that really helped me was finding a support system, finding friends that I can relate to. And someone said on Instagram that it's kind of hard to relate to other people in class because they might not look like you or they're just completely different. And so my recommendation is make friends outside of your department. Make friends in a sense of making friends outside of engineering. A lot of my friends are not in the engineering degree, but they helped me through so much. It was through them that I was able to do like study groups. It was through them that I was able to, have fun when I was not studying. And all of that is combined into our college experience. Even right now, even during this pandemic, we might not be on campus all the time, but doing study groups through Zoom or through Google Meet, it's so important to have that uplifting community to help us when we stop ourselves, like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. And now that I've been on Instagram and I've been able to meet so many women in STEM and engineering, that when I was in school, I knew maybe one or two other Latinas that were in engineering, and they were in different grades, like in different years. So there was no way that like we could work together. But it has changed my life. Like it has made me have that like group that I can go to talk about engineering, to talk about other things, to talk about the experiences that we had or how we want to change that now. So also reaching out to other females that are in STEM. There's a lot of pages that are supporting women in STEM, Latinas in STEM, where you can meet those girls. And like you said, you can have a Zoom call where you're all studying even though you go to different schools, but you have that, support with each other because we're going through similar things.
Oh, I love that idea. Yeah, definitely. So, the second misconception that we have today is what kind of setbacks did you experience and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest setbacks were when I would do bad in a class or where I would fail a class. And, it comes back to feeling you're not smart enough to be in this career. But you have to learn that it's a learning process. Everybody was in your place. Nobody grew up new in all of this physics and mechanics and whatnot. So they all had to learn it. And, I learned it by, talking to people that you're struggling, they're gonna help you out. Like, a professor never saw me in a bad way because I asked for help. So it's something that I really like tell people, like, ask questions. They're happy to be there to answer your questions. That's what they're there for, to help you learn. So those were my biggest step backs, but I had to learn that if I failed the class, I was gonna take it again and I was gonna do better in it. If I failed a test, I would talk to the professor, I would know how to, like, what to focus on so that I would do better on the next test.
Yes, I completely agree. Something I'm actually learning because I'm currently in my master's is better communication with my professors. For example, one of the setbacks currently is having to balance the full-time employee master's plus all these other responsibilities I have in my life. And I have to communicate with my professors saying like, hey, you know what, this is happening. I'm not going to meet this deadline like I wanted to. What can I do? And one of the classes that I did the best in was because I went to office hours like every single day. I think it's really important to know how to communicate what we need, how to articulate ourselves. I think it's also very common in our culture to not to struggle with asking for help. But we need to practice and we need to be aware that people want to help. I mean, that's why you and I are making platforms to help people because we know because the struggle is real.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember feeling, uncomfortable telling another student that I didn't understand something and, worried about what they would think about me. But most of the times they were probably in the situation. They probably were also confused. So I wish I would have gotten over that fear and worked more with my classmates because I know I didn't as much. So that's another thing that, I would want students to know that, just be honest with. Most of the students are on the same page. They might be struggling on the same topics, or you might understand something that somebody else doesn't, and the other way it happens with them, so then you're able to help each other.
Yeah, that's a great point. So the third concern that I got from my audience was the struggles of being first generation college student. So we have two first generation American college students here. And so Diana, how was the experience for you in having to go and through all of this and having to learn a lot on your own?
Yeah, I definitely didn't understand how to apply to college, the timelines, how it worked. The first time I went to college, it was a community college. So that one, I was able to receive a scholarship since I was in high school for that. So it was very clear to me, you go to that school. The school is covering you for 2 years. So that helped me out a lot because I didn't have to, learn everything. It was kind of decided for me. And then once I got there, I was able to learn, application processes, what schools I could go to, the majors, how to transfer, which was also new, but it gave me a little bit of you know, free way to understand everything. There were so many things that I didn't know that I wish I did, so I could gotten way more advantage. I feel like I just went to college, got the education, and got out, and I didn't take full advantage of all the opportunities that I could have.
What kind of opportunities would you have taken knowing what you know now?
I think I would have at least looked further into the schools that I was going to. I stayed close. I only went to a couple. I wanted to stay close, but I think there were more options, and I kind of just limited myself because I was venturing into a new world. And the other thing was, I was just going to class and I was coming back. I wasn't staying. Sometimes I wouldn't stay for office hours, or I wouldn't stay to work on projects, or I wouldn't stay to be in clubs. They just teach you so much. Like if you go into an engineering extracurricular club, it's just gonna teach you so much more than what you're learning in class. And I never did that. I just went straight back home and I didn't do any of that. Being part of SHIP, I never, I knew it was something, but I didn't really know what it was. So I never joined. And then now I'm seeing the conferences, how you have opportunities to find scholarships, to find jobs, you have a smaller pool of people that you're competing against to get a job wherever you want. If I had knew of those opportunities, maybe I would have gotten a job somewhere else.
I have to agree. I didn't join any organizations my first year. So I went to college straight out of high school. So I moved out. So my first year of college was like oh my gosh, I'm on my own. Let's explore, let's figure this out. And so it wasn't until my second year that I started getting into organizations, and SHIP was actually one of them, and HBSA and all of these different organizations. It was just about meeting people. One of the biggest takeaways for me from HBSA specifically, which is the Hispanic Business Student Association, was networking, building relationships, knowing how to communicate to different types of people. All of that is so essential in our professional world, in our professional journey. It was through these organizations where I met the best people and some of my best friends till this day. And so I highly recommend, getting outside our comfort zone and thinking that the grades and the classes are all that matter in our college experience, because it's not. So the last concern that came from my audience was how they are going to be treated as a minority or someone who just looks different in this field. So Diana, do you have any advice that you can give?
The first thing is engineering. It's extremely diverse. At least at my job, I mean, there's an engineer from from different countries, from different backgrounds, that immigrated at different times, or that were born here but they come from parents that were immigrants. So there's that, at least for me, I've seen a mixture. I've seen that collaboration, and it's great to see all these people with different accents from different backgrounds working together. The other thing is, in school, it's also like that. I mean, I had teachers from everywhere with different accents, and it was just nice to see that diversity. And the advice I do have, and somebody told me this, is once you become a professional and you get educated, and once you're among other people that are professionals, nobody is gonna treat you differently because of your background. You're around people that are educated, that value that education that you have, that you're here to work. So once you get to that environment, you're not gonna feel like you're gonna be treated differently because of your background, or because where you come from, or because you have an accent. It's a professional environment where everybody's looking to working with you.
Yeah, I think I like to reflect a lot in life. And one of the things I came to realize recently is we need to act like we belong. All of us have a place in this field. And yes, STEM and engineering can be competitive in college and your professional journey. But there is literally a place for everybody. There is a seat at the table for everybody. That seat is calling you, because we're going to bring a different perspective and a different way of thinking to the table that is needed. But we need to show ourselves that we do belong, because we do. So we can't let other people's assumptions or thoughts about us stop us from going where we want to go. Okay, well, thank you so much, Diana. Everyone, again, check her page out. Thank you so much for joining today on the channel and for contributing your experiences to these misconceptions that people should not have and should let go, because we can do it. Do you have any last minute advice?
Yeah, my favorite quote is, feel the fear and do it anyways, because engineering is going to be scary, STEM's going to be scary, anything in life that making you grow is going to be scary. So you have to know that you might not feel comfortable, but you still have to do it.
Yes, I love that. Well, thank you again. Everyone, as always, stay curious, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. So wait, are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh. You guys got so quiet.